This is Fictional Problems, the podcast where we discuss all things writing, in association with Speculative Fiction Ireland. On today's episode, we discuss the different aspects of writing intelligent characters, such as, can a writer create a character significantly smarter than themselves? Or, what does intelligence actually look like on the page? Join us to find out. Welcome back to Fictional Problems, a podcast where we discuss all things writing with myself, Gary J. Martin.
And myself, A.R. McNevin.
A.R. McNevin.
Hello!
Nice.
Can we do accents? Yeah, that's what
Is it the heat?
Let's see if our listener notices. Are they suddenly Scottish?
No, we are not suddenly Scottish, but we are intelligent individuals, incredibly smart people that are...
Are we?
No, we're not. We're incredibly dumb people trying at times to write smart people.
Are we? I would say we're both incredibly
So on today's episode, we are going to have a little discussion about intelligent characters, genius level intellects, masterminds, and that kind of stuff.
Well,
how do you write them when you're not that clever?
This is true, but also simple proficiencies.
Yes.
So
competence.
I guess, yeah. I think I heard a reference to a term this week. They're competency porn.
Ooh.
As in watching someone who's just competent at something is a thing now. It's like, oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. I've seen the videos as well of people on BMXs doing backflips and surfers doing crazy things.
I mean, more just there's a difference between, say, someone who is doing woodcraft and is doing kind of wood sculpting, and someone just putting a chair together.
Yeah,
both are well, not devaluing the putting of the chair together, but it's an action that's repeated.
Yes,
so I would put it in the competency or proficiency category rather than the expertise.
Yeah.
So I guess our discussion today is ranging from basically everything that the writer can't do up to just general expertise level of things.
Yeah.
How do you write the scientists, the hacker, the politician, even everyone who's, as in some politicians are stupid, but there are people who are political operatives who know how to do things rather than just people who are just tweeting about it. So yes.
So in some ways, it's like right and wrong. This is one of the things that came to mind. Was like right and wrong is often a matter of timing for characters.
Sure.
So following that premise, you could go, well, and in life in general, right and wrong is a matter of time, and you can make a decision that is, quite wise and quite intelligent, and then due to some other circumstances or the timing of it, it didn't work out quite as well as it would have on a different day, with different things happening.
Okay.
So
I'm sensing a tangent, but
so the intelligence is there, the wisdom is there, the mind is there to make those correct decisions. It's just other things made it a complete disaster. So there's one thing that was
so that I would put that slightly in once we get to the point of creating the character and that there is a point of their expressions interacting with others.
Yes.
As in so how do we? It's absolutely part of it, but I think it's the next stage on.
So when I following that line, I started thinking, well, a character who is to be written or an intelligent character, or someone you're trying to write as intelligent, quite often in mysteries, like the detective figures it out because the author knows what's happening. So they can give them the answers at the right time, or they can give them an insight, or let them start the deduction of the clue because the author knows where it's going. So that character seems quite intuitive or intelligent or bright because no other characters around them are figuring it out, but the author is having that intelligent written character figure it out.
Okay, so right. So that point, I think we made reference toward the idea of the Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Of the idea of a character who is just who's, I guess, will be the darling of the writer, or as you described, that someone who has almost access to the script itself.
Yes.
That I don't. So that is a form of intelligence, and that is a form of depicted intelligence. So absolutely, so it does fall into our category. I would say that it will be a different form, even though, say, the Sherlock Holmes and the detectives will rely on certain expertises.
Yeah,
they are using them as they're using almost as the technobabble of a thing, rather than they're going to have the deductive reasoning. I was like, so only so many people have this blood type, and only so many have this whatever.
They have the knowledge.
No, I'm saying that they don't have the knowledge. That they are expressing it through a vector that they don't have to have the rest of the knowledge. Like, it's the multidisciplinary investigator, the Sherlock Holmes. They know everything about everything. So they express this little nugget here, this little nugget here, and this little nugget here. So from a writing point of view, it's incredibly easy.
Yes.
Because we don't need to understand the entire of phlebotomy or any about blood in general. Yeah. All we need to know is we've looked up, and they're the most common blood type is this. The AB is
a bit of research will make your character seem very
exactly
on the ball.
So it's absolutely a way to trick intelligence.
Yes.
And for the writer to appear more intelligent than they are, because you are essentially limiting the field down to those particular results.
Yeah.
You're not saying, I know everything. So, like, say, you don't have to answer a test that on the full details of why, this person has this blood type or this certain bloodborne disease. All you're saying is this one fact is true. And indeed, that fact does not have to be true.
Yeah.
It just has to be expressed by a character who has previously been demonstrated or has been asserted to be the intelligent person in the room.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was pushing back on the idea of the interaction is that someone can be written as intelligent for the audience to react to.
Yeah.
And someone can be written as intelligent for the character to react to. And if the character, so you could have an intelligent person, and you have the characters going, no, that's just and
who's this fool? Who let him in the door?
Exactly. And it could be the case that the person is proved to be right at the end, or they are put down enough that they stop referencing. I mean, that's a character journey.
Yes.
So you could have so that is beyond simple kind of expression of intelligence. It is a absolutely valid part of the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was playing slightly.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, I don't know if it's just a common thing with all mystery writing, or if it's something that it was just Arthur Conan Doyle, writing the mysteries backwards.
Sure.
So naturally, it's like the hindsight is depicted as genius.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Well, I would say this is the thing that I think we referenced before about this quote we saw about how all stories are made up as they go along. So no, all stories asterisks are mysteries.
Yeah.
As in every story, you don't know how it's going to end. So every story has a mystery element to it. And if you are writing an actual plain murder mystery, you know how it ends. Mm-hmm. I've talked before about how I know, I originally wrote Parliament Crow as a TV show, and I know the last 3 episodes. I know the songs. If it ever became a TV show, I know the songs that we're playing. And
you have the soundtrack in your head.
It's already been written, and that
was the music playing as you were writing?
Not in my head. Well, sorry, no. I connected the music to say certain deaths, that and certain moments of import, because it was the last 3-4 episodes. But that was 105 episodes, and there was a lot of stuff not addressed.
Okay.
Not even. I just basically skipped over episodes. So, like, I had full episode 1, full episode 2, full season 1, full season 2, and then parts of season 3, parts of season 4, and then parts of season 5.
Yeah.
And season 5 was actually probably more populated than 4 or 3, because I knew where I was going.
Yeah.
So this goes, it's a mystery show. A mystery show.
But were you writing it backwards in that regard? Like, where you go, here's the conclusion. Now I'll kind of go back in time in the narrative and plant the clues that they're going to find.
Yes and no. In that,
other than just knowing where you're going to end up, did you start writing the end?
No, but no, because it's so vast.
Yeah.
The way I write, it's kind of the part planter, part what's your one, potter planter,
Yeah.
is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. That I knew that I would move away, and things you also want to forget kind of the ending at times, so you can accidentally give red herrings, and write them as authentically as possible. So you can kind of expand the world before you actually go, no, these are the correct paths that we're going down.
Yeah.
But in any story, it was the only reason why I mentioned it is that in any story, one quote unquote should question mark know the rough idea where you're
I'm
going
Ron
to.
Burgundy.
Who put the question mark? That one benefits. Let's phrase it for that. That one benefits from knowing the end of the story. If you are writing a mystery in which the butler did it, then on page 1, you need to know the butler did it.
The butler has to be there. They have to have a butler.
They have to have a butler. Yes, very important. If you have a servantless house, you're going to have a problem.
Haha, it was me all along. Sorry, who are you?
Who the fuck are you?
I'm the butler. You literally haven't been in any of the previous pages.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that's a reference. It was in Suicide Squad. It's like, what was his name? The guy who died. Milton? Who's Milton? I was like, he was with us. You're like, Milton? Yeah, him. Like, oh, Milton.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. So there is, so it is easy. Well, that's the thing. Because you're in the writer position, you have the God position. You can give the truth to, and it doesn't matter if those things are accurate. This is the thing that one thing I wrote down when you mentioned this topic. There's a difference in convincing an expert of a thing, and the general public of a thing. So I can say whatever the feck I want about the say blood types and whatever the phenotypes and all that jazz are, the elements inside blood, and 90% of the population will buy it. 10% of the population who have some degree of understanding of blood, from nurses and doctors to phlebotomists. I'll say that word again.
It's like, that guy doesn't even know how platelets work. What the hell?
No, exactly. So, but
what a loser.
There was a very bad TV show, the Iron Fist. So I did martial arts for, say, 12, 13 years. And the reason why I say is because the last year and a bit, where I didn't take COVID out of it. And it was kendo, the Japanese fencing. And in one scene in Iron Fist, he goes to a dojo, and there's a lot of people who are clearly extras who are using shinai, the bamboo swords from kendo. And at one point, the two of them are standing there face to face. It's blocked out for scene, and they're using them. They're holding them like they are walking sticks.
Yeah.
So the points are down, their hands are on top, and they're literally pressing down. This is abhorrent.
Oh, no.
To every fucking person. Every person who's ever picked up a shinai was told that while you're in this dojo, this is like very, very specific. You guys, we're not insane.
It's an etiquette thing, isn't it?
Exactly. 100%. It's called Regi. The whole etiquette thing. While you're in the dojo, and the whole idea of the sword is the soul of the samurai, we don't go that far. But you will treat, I think it's even there's some training where you use the sword as a kind of put up behind your back, so you can keep your balance, so you can straighten your back. So you do use it in some ways to kind of as a tool.
Yeah.
But there is just a underlying base level, and I think respect almost isn't even too big a word. It's just something you don't do. Like, I remember I was in a grading, I was one of the teachers, so I was one of the guys who wasn't grading that day, and there was a lineup of all the shinai, all the swords, and all the armor, and if you can imagine, just a line of sticks.
Yeah.
And one guy just then went and ran down the long line, jumping over every stick, and it's like, dude,
the eyes start twitching, and
I grabbed him as soon as he got over the last one.
You have dishonored me.
Exactly, but he has dishonored every. Dishonor is, again, too big a word.
Sure,
but it's I can't think of one. But it's like, it's just
disrespect.
It's And I grabbed the guy, and I went, "What did you just do?" And he looked back and went, "Oh, Jesus!" And fortunately, none of the judges saw him, and he had already passed. It was all grand. But he immediately he understood why he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
he should have just walked around.
So when you see it in the TV show in Iron Fist with them holding in admittedly perhaps a cooler looking pose that
exactly.
the scene set up was like, oh yeah, hold it like this because it looks good.
You've seen you've seen Conan the Barbarian, sword down, hands over top. Look at me, I'm big and strong.
Recognizable, yeah.
It's a common pose.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a part. Also, and some may disagree, this is that when you receive when you buy a Shinai from a store, because you won't go find them in Ireland, you'll have to buy them from other places. So you receive them in the post.
Is it like Ollivander's wands in Harry Potter?
They're not. No. That was because these are real and they are important. Those ones
they select their own or anything.
Nah, like that. that there is plastic wrapping. It comes wrapped in plastic, and there are 3 threads around. The way that basically it's a bamboo that has been bound together, and there's 3 threads, and you remove the threads. Yeah. There's two red and 1 gold. You remove the threads. Okay. Now, because I've heard from other people that you don't do this. You let them fall off. I was like, no, that would be silly. So every Shinai in this room, everyone had all the red threads. So it's like not taking off the packing material.
Yeah.
So that was a diatribe. So the reason, but I noticed it.
Yes.
No one else will,
because of your degree of expertise and knowledge of the particular subject.
I have a foundational knowledge. Called expertise, called just a foundational knowledge of that sport, of the use of those particular items, those weapons. I have an understanding that no one else will see. So should you be? So this is where the question is. So should you be writing with an eye to get past me, or to get past you in this regard? As you have your own expertises, I have mine. So should you be writing to clear past me, or to clear past you, because you will never see enough?
That's a very good question, because
why? Thank you.
Yeah, because like you say, most people won't notice, but I don't know. It could be a question of, if you want to put forward a degree and a level of expertise, or at least demonstrate the research you've put into the topic that you're talking about, you do need to kind of clear it. It does need to be real, unless you're delving into pseudoscience or kind of magic areas that no one can dispute what you're doing.
Yes,
because you have invented this method and you've invented these things. So, like for example, in a fantasy world, the nature, even as far down as like the minerals of the rocks, or the type of elements that are making up the world, might have different.
Yes.
Or the botany might be slightly different and have a different effect on the physiology of the character.
Sure. So actually, that's an excellent point that I want to return to. But so stay on the expertise just for the moment.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to have
real world expertise.
Real world expertise has to have that. If you want what you're saying to be taken seriously, then I think it does need to pass all the gates.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, and as while in my head slightly disagreeing, but yes. So I 100% agree that it's down to the research, and this is, I think, a key point of how do you write intelligent characters, or how do you pass the expert test? It is that you do the research into the topic to the point that you get past, like, this show is about a martial artist.
Yeah.
And that's the real thing. If it was a show about, like, say, there's, I think in Ant-Man, where there's a scene where, in the first Ant-Man, where Angeline Lilly teaches Rudd Paul some fighting, but it's not a martial art movie.
Yeah.
And in that scene, again, because
we'll take liberties.
Of my particular, my particular knowledge set, I'm looking around the room, and it looks like to me that it was they went to a martial arts store and just give us a bit of everything.
Yeah,
like there's a
we need to learn fight.
Exactly. Teach us fight.
Yes.
That's yeah. At one point, there's a poster on the wall of a guy in for the stance of a side profile stance of kendo person, and that's what picked out to me, because I didn't see I didn't pick out the Taekwondo stuff. I didn't pick out the Kempo stuff. I didn't pick out the Shaolin stuff. No, from my own. But I saw that and I went, that doesn't fit in here.
Yeah.
And on the wall there was a bunch of different weapons from different types of martial arts, and there was a few shinai thrown in for good measure, and they looked slightly worn, as if say, just give us your old stuff for fight. So I think in that I would not have had a major problem with it, because it's not central. That's the focus. It's not a focus.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just cover the scene in what looks like vaguely Eastern or Eastern European or Eastern
aesthetic.
Yes, exactly.
Just give it a.
So that's why I had this small bit of question. But if the person or if the part of the story requires this person to be an expert in a thing, then they should know the details around that thing.
I think so, yeah.
That there's the facts of the case, and there's the wisdom. As you mentioned before, the wisdom around the facts. They have to know what's right and what's wrong. In their chosen specialized subject.
Yeah. So for example, when I'm writing sword fighting and say armor pieces or the mechanics of a trebuchet or a ballista, or kind of so I'm looking at real world examples of, say, what distance and what size of shot could a ballista fire? What is the maximum weight that this thing could be in order to move it successfully on a military campaign? I'm looking at the armor pieces, what areas are exposed on the body given a certain type of armor. So that's the kind of research I'm doing. Now, I'm not an armor expert, but if I kind of hone in on, if I have an idea in my head as to what I want to happen in the story, then I will retroactively look that up and conduct research to see if it's plausible or not, or if I have to maybe change the scene a little bit in order to make so like that the armor expert or the military combat expert will go, all right,
actually
that's fair,
and that you make an excellent example. But while you were talking about it, I think you took us in a different direction, which is a great one, which is not just the expert but the world itself. So
that's more talking about the author, I suppose, than the character.
Yes, but the idea that you are going to have a trebuchet, and no one, say, in that war may be the expert on the trebuchet. It may be just it's become so understood that as in they've a level of engineering that they can fire these trebuchet, and they can be 5-pound shot, 10-pound shot, 20-pound shot, for example. Don't know if it's 20 pound. I just think things. I said that. I don't know if it's 20 pound is too big and 5 pound is too small. It's like it would never do anything.
Yeah, but well, as long as the engineering is consistent with the design and the build,
yes.
So you can scale
that. So, but you're not having a character embody that information. You are building it into the world. So, as you say, that when the expert reads this, they can go, and indeed. You are not just you're putting a character in who's intelligent. You're putting the world. You're making the world more authentic by having that included.
Well, I think like each of the characters, in order to kind of round them out as well, certain characters have more expertise in certain areas than others. So for example, the knight, Rosalind as a knight, would know how the placement of armor, the strength, she has been through it all her life.
I'm suggesting that in the fighting, you're not going to have Rosalind saying,
"I'm doing this now.
I'm doing that." I'm that you're fine. You're putting it in the prose rather than in the mouths of the characters.
Yeah,
by essentially almost by cutting and pasting, like listening to that one video or doing that research about in this, like, even to make it the authenticity of it comes from this research that you say, okay, during this battle, these trebuchet where they'd fire the shot from this range to this range, that they could fire, and all you have to do is almost just copy and paste that phrase out and put it in.
I don't, but
I know. It is almost that simple to create a sense of authenticity and intelligence in the working, because you don't have to have the engineer say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to have, because you don't have to have the character express all this information.
No, because actually that's quite a good point that I wanted to bring up. So that brings me to a point that you just triggered in my mind.
Good.
Is that quite often, like even like we call them hyper intelligent characters as they're written, so they're supposed to know all the things. But you will notice, and you notice it with Sherlock Holmes, and you notice it with the likes of Spock, for example. Like Spock is supposed to be this hyper intelligent, logical character that science officer and others.
Leonard Nimoy Spock, sure, okay.
Yes, specifically. But quite often and
Zachary Quinto. So
okay. Oh yeah, okay, we'll take
that. That's it.
But there is I think it's consistent enough to be a thing where intelligent characters are the ones that simplify it for everyone else around them. Like Spock does that quite often. He reduces it down to, this means this, Captain. He knows, he has the intelligence, he's able to figure out, but he gets rid of the fat and says, this is what we have to do because this is the situation.
Okay, but is this a good thing or bad thing? So yes, it is an excellent point. I do agree with it. But in the expression to either the character or the audience, that they simplify it down. Yes. Should they?
I think it's more believable of an intelligent character to, like, if he's surrounded by non-geniuses, geniuses. Like they would probably go, okay, well, in simple terms, this is what's going on.
Yes, but I'm not a fan. I every time I get to that point in a story, every fucking time I get to that point, I don't want. I want to keep it understood.
Yeah.
But I don't like one of my most hated adages is keep it simple, stupid. I fucking hate it. And when it's dealing with people in the real world or my characters on the page, I want them to have an understanding that I don't have to simplify it. Indeed, to reference what I was talking about before, that one of the comments I got back from the first of the Quantumancy books was that it was it had cliches. It was cliched.
Right.
Yes, because I want to put everything in place that you know which versions of things I'm using.
Sure.
Before I then go along and have the conversation later on that you're going to now understand.
Yeah.
So I don't have to spend every minute going, well, this person is using witch magic, and this person is using hermetic magic, and this person is using fey magic, and this person is using quantumancy. Oh, I don't understand the difference. I've spent all this time.
I told you, book one.
Yes. So when you get to the final battle and you have everyone falling into place, and suddenly it all makes sense, and suddenly this mosaic, appears before you, you go, oh, now I understand why you spent so much time detailing out the bits and pieces.
Yeah, of course.
This is why I have, 13 different hermetic houses. This is why everything's broken down into their particular pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It all makes, hopefully, hopefully.
There's no wood here to knock on other than my head.
Other than my head, absolutely. So hopefully that they all kind of come together. So the idea of, I'm not sure if it's a quality, it's definitely a common use trope of the simplification aspect. So I wouldn't, because you don't have to be an expert to simplify something. Or to suggest a metaphor that simplifies it, as happens in TNG all the fucking time.
Yeah, but like I think it's probably a more realistic version of an intelligent person in those situations to kind of boil it down to what is needed in this situation. They might understand the complexities of neutrinos and what tachyons, and they get it, and it like all the knowledge comes into their head and it's able to be filtered. Rather than, I think it might be perhaps a mistake to have the character spouting lots of sciencey stuff,
right? For example,
and the reader's kind of going, "Okay, are you giving me a lecture here, or are you moving on with the story?" Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that. Absolutely. I can't think I've said my piece. I don't think that it's a necessity, but I think it's absolutely that has happened. But to go back to one of the things you mentioned before, or that I think we almost ran into one aspect. So that aspect of expressing, of how to express an intelligent character through simplification.
Yeah.
Another way that commonly happens is you express it by dumbing down other characters.
That's a very good point.
And this is an annoyance to me, especially if you have, especially in TV shows where you spend a lot of time bigging up your core cast.
Yeah.
And then you have a new character coming in, and instead of bigging them up in their own way, you reduce the other characters in order to show them to how to shine.
Danger.
Exactly. And this is, you essentially you neg your own characters in order to make another shine.
Yeah. So is your character brilliant, or is everyone else, did their IQs just suddenly drop?
Exactly. And the thing is, that in itself, that one line I like. I was like, the IQs
suddenly
dropped sharply while I was away. But the idea of that the person who the audience or the reader previously relied on as the intelligence suddenly being knocked down a peg or two to demonstrate someone else's intelligence. No, it that every time I see that happening, whether it be in my own writing or when it's someone else's, it's not. I think I can understand it as well. I kill my darlings, or I diminish my own darlings. No, this is a bit worse than that.
Yes, it is.
This is not to do with this is you haven't found a better way.
Yeah,
because a rising tide lifts all boats, to use another adage. That it should be the case that if you have established an intelligent character in a certain field, like say science, the science person, and then another person comes along, like I'll use the example from Marvel, which because it's a common enough trope, where they are removing the gem in not the final Avenger movie, the one beforehand. What's it called? Was it not Endgame? Infinity War.
Infinity War, yes.
They're looking to remove the gem from Vision's head.
Yeah,
and this is something that has been studied at length by Banner and by Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And then Siri comes along and goes, So why didn't you just do them all at the same time? And I was like, we didn't think about that.
It's like, no, yeah, I would have.
Or they didn't have access to technology. And that's the thing. They didn't express her ability as an understanding of the technology that they have access to in Wakanda.
Yeah.
It was an expression of her being better than them.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have done that.
It's like, you didn't think of that? Are you
exactly?
both?
It's like we
which are multiple degrees and doctorates and genius level intelligence,
and years of actually study.
Yeah,
and it's really fucking annoying that
especially such a simple premise.
Yes,
it's like they would have gone through the list of every possibility.
Yes,
if they were tasking with something.
Exactly, but they could have shown everyone. They could have shown respect for the ones who had, absolutely bring someone in with greater insight. Bring someone and go, have you, like, I just did a training session with some of my staff, and one thing I mentioned was that you can come with good ideas, new ideas. I don't cleave to my thing like, this is my solution. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Absolutely come to me with your own ideas, including ideas that we looked at before.
Yes.
Before they came into the team.
Have a fresh look.
Because at that time we may not have had the technology, we may not have had the understanding, or that we tried a thing and we didn't work. That doesn't mean it can't work in the future.
Yeah.
So them coming along and going, I can see that you looked at this in the past. We have a thing
that can do it.
We can think that we might be able to do it, but I think with your intelligence, your previous research, my understanding of this technology, we can come together and
collaborate
and so you're showing respect to the person who's went before. You're showing respect to their study. You're showing them to be intelligent.
Yes,
and you're showing the new person going
is also intelligent.
And it's not just saying I'm relying on this technology. It is, I've had access to this technology. I can now apply it to your thing. And it also is saying things like I like the line about, it's in Masterpiece Society, the TNG episode, where they solve it by applying LaForge's visor technology.
Yeah. Okay.
To fixing changing the tractor beam. They do it in pulses rather than in one long beam. Necessity is the father of invention, or the mother of invention. It's a parent of invention. So, and that's another example where you have a scientist who is the best scientist of their generation.
Yeah.
And she is absolutely wonderful at what she does. And you have LaForge, who is a great engineer. And they come together. And
it's a collaboration of intelligence.
Or like with Hail Mary, where you have Rocky, who is an engineer, and Grace, who is the scientist. And they work together.
Yeah.
And all the jokes between the two of them, that is what solidifies that movie for me. That was just
I really enjoyed that one.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Where Grace is like, he puts a little puppet show on for me, or where before they go off to harvest the stuff, it's like, and Rocky's going, do puppet show, and he goes, so we go into orbit, or we go in alongside them. Right? Okay, I didn't think of that. Rocky says, I did.
Yeah,
and it's just it is a wonderful moment of people working together.
Yes.
Both of them are bigged up.
Yeah.
So
you're not diminishing anybody's character or previously established character. More importantly, you're not being inconsistent with the level of intelligence in the room.
Yeah, you're because you're allowing them to and expressing their characters well. As you know, Rocky in that scene I mentioned, a little bit of a dick. Funny dick. But he is, it's like, I did. It's just this wonderful these wonderful little moments of indeed how you express these ideas to one another, that you will have, perhaps it's not, actually, would it be the same what you said about simplifying it down? Rocky asked him to do a puppet show so that he could find his own way to the answer.
Yeah.
Which is not so maybe Rocky couldn't because of lack of their limitation on their language. So he couldn't express the full understanding to him. Mm-hmm. So he got him to do a puppet show to make him figure it out himself. This is still wonderful. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
It's a pretty good movie.
It's a there. Yeah. And indeed, there's other reasons why it's very, very good, especially the ending. I could talk about the ending as in just the idea of him being the coward to the nth degree. As in, I almost battled with that idea afterwards, going, he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He is the hero who really didn't want to be there.
Yeah, reluctant hero.
So really awesome. That part alone could be an episode and a half. Yeah. Anyway, so
don't diminish everyone around the intelligent person.
Exactly.
For the sake of their intelligence.
Yes, that it is you're diminishing everyone by doing that.
Yeah.
Because you have established that with the audience. The audience now understands this is where everyone is. I was like, I think when mass media does it, and maybe I'm being extreme, it devalues the understanding of science. It doesn't yes, we had someone in the White House who devalued science during COVID, but I always think that
the guy that stared at the solar eclipse. I can't think what his name was, but
yeah, he's still around.
If we stop saying it, maybe he'll go away.
Oh yeah, it's like the opposite of saying Bloody Mary in the mirror.
Yeah.
But those sort of kind of mass media movies did or can have a negative effect on people's accepting of what expertise is. So this is hopefully I won't go into a diatribe with this, but the idea of respect for the expert.
Yeah.
So when we do depict that expert, it can't be just, or can't be, it shouldn't be just the individual pieces, because one has to respect that if that expert reads it, that should it, let's go back to that martial arts scene.
Yeah.
And while I said that, I can understand if the moment isn't about, or the movie isn't about martial arts, then sure, you can kind of get past it. But should you?
Yeah.
Should you diminish what is for some a lifelong pursuit as just a flippant thing?
Yeah.
Outside of comedy, of course. But if you were doing a drama, a thriller, which most science fiction are, or most science fiction is, or fantasy is, then the idea of just having this sort of stuff thrown away.
Yeah, if it's a drama, or if it's serious, or if those aspects of the martial art are even like central to the story, as in the story's about a kendo fighter, or the story or whatever setting. if the more that the focus of the lens is on those things, the background kind of mistakes are starkly contrasted.
I mean that the story is away from, so but if your story is about that thing, then absolutely you have to be in that thing. But the story,
conversely, if it's not, then
But that's the question that I'm raising, that if it's here's an example. It's not possible to do what Bane did in Dark Knight Rises. It's not possible to sell everyone's fortune, or say a single person's fortune, with a thumbprint or a single signature.
Nor is it possible to get the entire police force underground.
Yes, but
they go, get everyone down there. What? No.
Yes, it's the lesser of the three, but still a great
we still have calls to do. There's domestic violence, there's robberies, we're not sending every police officer underground.
Yeah, well they didn't. There was a bunch still up there, but they went into hiding.
Yeah, but we'll do a systematic search that takes 6 months and everyone's on overtime, but we'll do it with a smaller group of people.
Sure, but the idea of being able to sell someone's fortune is something that has been repeated. It was done in Westworld.
Yeah,
it was done in Dark Knight. It was done in a few different things and it can't be done. So it is a misunderstanding of financial services.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, there was I saw a great takedown of the Westworld it was from a few years ago. I saw it again recently, where one of the commentators has a degree in economics.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, this didn't get past me at all. Because on the screen, at one point, they show a screen where someone has a diversified portfolio across different stocks and properties and asset classes, and where you need to have a market open, or even a market created to sell something.
Yeah, it's not authentic. Well, yeah, and it's a major plot point of that movie, and it's completely inauthentic
but it diminishes the understanding. This is why when people go, like, one of the points that he made, and I think that he made this point just back when the show was on, which was 5 years ago, that personal value, or sorry, the Ford's top 500, that racist from South Africa, what's his name? Oh yeah, Musk.
I think if we stop saying these names, perhaps then.
Yeah, just every time you say it, just the racist, transphobe, just list off their before mentioning it. It should be part of their names.
Oh, okay.
But
their official title,
exactly,
in the world,
exactly. But having a wealth of 1.2, being the first trillionaire, that's trillionaire on paper. They do not have that liquid assets, because in order to, there was a great example a while ago of, he had to sell, I think it was 10% of his Tesla stock because of tax reasons. But that sale of 10% dropped the value of the stock that he had. So, to use simple math as an example, if you had 100 million, he sold 10 million to pay the tax, and the resulting value of the stock after that was 81 million. It's like, where did the other 9 million go? The value of it dropped because of...
See, ladies and gentlemen, there is an intelligent person simplifying down a situation.
Don't agree with him.
For me.
Yeah. So
he's talking economics and maths. I'm like, okay, you need to dumb this down a little bit for me. Thank you very much for doing so. And I think you've demonstrated one of our previous points.
Yes, unfortunately so. But so someone saying they're worth X, they're not. Someone who says, "Oh, I'm a millionaire," really, or like one of the Jenner girls went, I'm a self-made millionaire." It's like, no, you had the Kardashian name behind it. You were on Keeping with Kardashian. You had some of the most social media active people pushing your brand, and it was actually Webster's dictionary that actually snapped back and going, "No, you're not." Which was a wonderful moment these stupid people.
Well, actually, that brings us to another point in relation to, say, scientists in TV shows, movies, and in literature, is that quite often, real science is very rarely depicted, I think.
It depends on the thing, as in hard sci-fi would rely on it.
Well, let me qualify. So, quite often in say, I know we might be talking about Frankenstein later, but in another episode. But science is usually a collaborative effort.
Sure.
That's nice and slow and methodical and working through, whereas in movies, TV shows, and literature, the science is explosive and eureka, and this discovery just happened, and I did it all on my own because I'm a genius, rather than I'm working in a collective group and it took us 5 years to get this far, which isn't very far. It's just
I would
fiction versus reality.
I would have to disagree in that. Yes, it can be done. Like when you're talking about it, I think, okay, the hacker expert who does a solo, who's dancing around the keyboard rather than looking for that code, to look at that comma to remove from his code.
Or Tony Stark, for example.
Oh, sure, but even I would say more like the Ironhide crap rather than Tony Stark, because you actually in the montage of him creating the first one, or every other step after that. Indeed, his practices throughout have been pretty well in their definitions. In the cave, you get a full montage of, admittedly it's a montage, but still, he goes through the full process of building the suit. When he gets back home, he has a 3D model of the suit, and he starts throwing bits away and then rebuilds it from scratch.
Sure.
This is part of the design process. So it is, I think, that is a good example of an expert at work. You don't need, that's why I kind of push back, you don't need the group, but you can benefit from the group.
Yeah.
If it is depending on the topic. We just mentioned Hail Mary, where admittedly at one point he's like, am I on this? No, we have people around the world working the same thing, but you're the one who's figuring it out.
You're up front.
You're the trailblazer. We're not leaving it the entire fate of the human race to you.
Yeah.
Other people are working on it. Yeah. Other people are working on it, as in, you're the first person who made them breed. Yeah. So this is great. Let us know. Please let us know how you did it. So it is.
Yeah, that's why that was quite realistic.
But that's opposite what you just said.
Well, no, because they had everyone around the world doing slow, methodical work.
No, because
there is a breakthrough.
But we didn't see that. We saw the one guy on his own with his bodyguard working at it.
Sure.
So the exact opposite of your depiction. That you can bring people together. Like a favorite movie of mine is The Core. It's a terrible. Sorry, it's a B movie.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, crappy science fiction movie which I adore. Everyone who wants to list up all the problems with it, from the writing to the acting, I will absolutely say yes, you are absolutely right. I still fucking love it. I actually went back and watched it again last weekend before. I still have a fondness for it. Don't know why. It's just in my soul somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was a group of people coming together, but it still had the head point. It had Brazil invented the ship. They have all these different people who are the head points of where the experts, all the other experts come in and they turn his idea for a ship to travel through the Earth into reality.
Yeah,
and that requires money, that requires resources, requires other talent to come along and work together. And indeed, one of the lines is like, yes, there's 1,000 problems ahead of us, but we can work together. And it is a again, montage, collaborative, but it's focused on those characters as the head points, which is great. Having I would push back on the idea that science is required to be a collaborative effort. But I will also say that the body of science, the respect of that,
real world science,
yes, for the vast majority, but like in say the core and in say in science fiction, you do stretch out into the area of kind of
real world science is also it mightn't be the ideal fit for your science fiction extravaganza or your
where it becomes more science fiction rather than science fiction.
Exactly.
And that is, and the thing is, you don't, and that's the point where you go beyond explanation, and that's where you end up in where you can do, as long as you're expressing it as a fiction, sure, but then you kind of get into the area of pseudoscience. If you're depicting your fakery as reality, and then that's a different problem altogether.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I know we were talking about like time travel in on a previous show. So surely there is science to a point in the real world, and then like your fiction will take the leap.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To make impossible things possible, and that's all part of the entertainment. It's all part of the story.
And indeed,
no physicist is going to sit there and go, No, I don't. No, if time travel is impossible, I'm not reading this book.
No, they might. No, they absolutely. No, it's someone who has spent their career working on say neutrino research or simply on causality. They may have spent all their lives working on a thing going, yes, it is impossible to travel back in time. Further in time, sure.
Yeah.
But what's been set is set. You could have someone who is an expert in the philosophy of science and go, no, can't happen. You could and they could choose their reading material based on that.
Yeah, true.
There's no reason for someone to go, my expertise means I'm never going to pick up this book.
And they're missing out on watching Back to the Future if that's the case, and that's sad for them.
It is sad for them, but then they get to miss out on every other really fucking bad time travel movie out there,
which is good for them.
Actually, so jumping into the supernatural and the kind of the fiction part of the science and the magic that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
So to return to our original point about expressing the expertise.
Yeah.
It is the point where it is, I guess, it's because it's so easy. It is how can I say this? When you are building your world, when you're building your magic into place, you are your own expert.
Yes.
So that means that you can apply that knowledge base to whomever you want in your fantasy or in your science fiction.
Yeah.
That makes them an expert. So,
but you can write an expert doesn't necessarily have to look. I was going to say, an expert doesn't necessarily have to be intelligent. That's not true. But intelligence doesn't necessarily have to be expertise.
We'll get back to that 1 second. But the magic aspect of it.
Yeah.
If we want to depict expert intelligence, then you are setting yourself up for an easy way to do so.
Sure. Yeah,
because you are the one who
Little cheat.
It is, but it also means that you have to be more. It's just another reason where you have to be more. I would almost say rigid, or as it's your world building.
Yeah.
So you're making decisions about your world. So I'm not depicting you have to be rigid on a certain thing.
Yeah.
But when you do a certain thing, you have to be rigid on it.
Yes.
When
consistency.
Yes, exactly. When you decide X, Y, and Z, you can't suddenly decide it's now X. Or that's A, Y, C.
Yeah.
And that you're just jumping around the letters.
Yeah.
So that is the easiest way to express. To return to your point about intelligence and expertise.
Yeah.
How else do you depict intelligence outside of an expertise on the thing?
Yeah. So someone mightn't be necessarily like knowledgeable about like quantum mechanics or physics or something like that, but they might have a degree either of emotional intelligence, that they're able to read patterns, that they have certain instincts that set them aside from some other characters. It mightn't be in what we call a traditional genius level hyper intelligence in terms of like book learning.
Sure.
But they could have that something that sets them aside in relation to how they interact with people, or just like I said, emotional intelligence is a good example there, because how they interact with the other characters can seem like they might be extremely empathetic. They might or wisdom. As we learned from Dungeons and Dragons, wisdom is not intelligence. So
I would say wisdom is the aura around intelligence, rather than, because I recently did a debate where we're talking about the difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
And one thing I came to, it helped ratify my own idea that wisdom is the shadow around knowledge.
It's kind of an assessment of the knowledge that you have.
No, I would say that wisdom can become knowledge, but it is it's whether it is as you say, the innate, or it's the suggestion of knowledge to come. Like you mentioned, the idea of being right in the moment. You didn't have the knowledge of being right. So, like I say, the first caveman to light a fire.
Yeah,
they didn't have the knowledge of that, but they had a vaguely understanding. So I'd say they were wise about the world enough to make a supposition.
Yeah,
they create fire. Wait, hey, and they then refine that process. That process is now creating fire.
Okay.
So that's knowledge. Knowledge already existed. As in that process always, add X plus Y equals, that process always existed. But so they just got there through a process, and that process was wisdom. Because wisdom, in my mind, and this may be an entirely different topic, is separate from, is not separate from knowledge, but there's a kind of,
it's tied to it, definitely. Yeah.
Yes,
it is tied to it.
It is from knowledge. You're making suppositions, and those suppositions are considered, I would say, are wisdom. But
so even if you look at it that way, that the intelligence is the acquisition of knowledge and the retention of the knowledge and the understanding of the facts of a thing, as in just what a machine does, how it does it, the science that's applied to it. That is the intelligence that you can gain and access anytime you want in order to explain things. But the wisdom, perhaps, is being able to see the purpose of the machine, being able to see what uses it could go to. Being able to, but maybe a machine is the wrong thing. It's the difference between knowing which path to take and knowing why that path might be better.
No,
I'm saying that wrong. Okay, we'll scrap all this. I'm just talking nonsense.
Because in your phrase, you said knowing which path is better. So knowing being knowledge.
Yeah.
So it is to use your analogy before we kind of jump off or go back to what you were mentioning earlier. I would say that the knowledge is about, say, forest paths, and wisdom is which of all the knowledge we're applying to a new subject or new
judgment. Then, isn't it?
Judgment, essentially, yes. So you don't know that this is the best path, but based on all the knowledge you have beforehand, you're making not just an educated guess, but that is a wise statement because you're basing it on knowledge that has gone before. So it is and that may be wrong as a wise statement. As you mentioned before, the idea of you could make a statement and think you're correct, but ultimately be wrong, or you could be wrong based on different things, different criteria that could change.
Yeah.
But to go back to your idea of how to depict people who are intelligent that are not experts, there's 7 different forms of intelligence. Almost all of them involve some form of knowledge base, though. The only one that doesn't is emotional intelligence. So of the 6 other types, I would say that from a writing point of view, your expression of someone having an intuitive reaction to someone, or being empathetic. You need to express that in almost science, or not science terms, but in a knowledge based way. Because if you just have someone going, no, they know me, like, really? How? And then they become supernatural. And especially if you're not wanting to make them supernatural, how do you do so? You do so by using psychology, by other knowledge sets that suddenly become your depiction by which they are expressed.
Yeah.
So
if, for example, like a character like Thorn, he does have a particular kind of instinctual kind of awareness of situations at times, like when he's hunting or when he's relying on his experience and his judgment rather than what he knows is like ahead of him, or he's able to rely on not only his knowledge that he's gained in experience, but also his wisdom of when things have gone terribly wrong in the past.
But that's knowledge as well. That's what I'm saying. So Thorn, he's 50 years old? He's
close.
Sorry?
Or older.
Okay. Yeah. I thought, okay. But he's lived a long time. He's gone through several wars. He was a slave for a time. All these things, he has different careers.
Yeah.
These are all knowledges. These are all knowledge sets, skill sets that he has adopted over the while. So when hunting, that is a application of a skill. Thus, it is knowledge. And where the wisdom comes in is he is in a different situation. Like, say, when X attacks, he goes, okay, I understand what I need to do. When I am involved in a fight, whether that is in a forest or in a
castle.
A castle, I understand there's different things.
Yeah.
I can rely on different aspects. The ground will be slippy in this, there won't be slippy there, or and indeed the idea of, say, the ground is slippy in a forest, but halfway through a fight in a castle, the stone floor is now slick with blood. So the knowledge of the forest fight
brings it forward,
comes in. So it's not just it is the wisdom is in maybe connecting things, but that's the penumbra around these two aspects. I would say that the empathy is a different set completely. It's a different type of character that they tend to be depicted differently than someone who is being depicted as intelligent. As while it is a form of intelligence, I don't think that the empathy character is depicted as intelligence as their primary stat.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I have to go off and learn a lot more and hope to retain that intelligence, knowledge, wisdom, all that stuff to write better. And I hope this has helped individuals that want to write intelligent characters and kind of go at it themselves. But for now, we are going to call a halt. We are going to put down the
and just bring this to an end.
Just bring it to an end.
Stop rabbiting on. Come on, bring it to an end.
That's what I'm saying. My brain is gone. That's
This has been
Fictional Problems
with
Gary J. Martin
and A.R. McNevin. Keep watching the sky.